Welcome to the 2010 State of the City Address and Luncheon hosted by the Oregon City Chamber of Commerce and here at the beautiful Abernethy Center. I'm so pleased to share that there are over 150 people in attendance this year demonstrating how our business community, our public officials, and our citizens feel about what's happening here in Oregon City, and additionally how we all feel about our mayor. In just a few minutes, we will hear from Oregon City's Mayor, Alice Norris, to present her 8th and final State of the City Address. Good afternoon, I'm Amber Holvik. I'm the Executive Director for the Oregon City Chamber. And today, our event is being recorded by Willamette Falls Television and will be broadcast to the public via local cable access. Thank you, Melody, for your assistance in making this happen. We are also fortunate to have a number of distinguished guests with us representing various levels of government and public service. Please stand when you're introduced, and if I could ask the audience to please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Representing the City of Oregon City, Mayor Alice Norris, Commission President Doug Neely, City Commissioner Daphne West, City Commissioner James Nicita, City Manager Larry Patterson, Police Chief Mike Conrad, and he probably wasn't expecting this. I wanted to also introduce the Chair of the Urban Renewal Commission and 2009 Citizen of the Year, Don Slack. Thank you. Representing education, Oregon City School District Superintendent, Dr. Roger Rada, and Clackamas Community College President, Dr. Joanne Truesdell. Representing Clackamas Fire District Number 1, Director Toby Forsberg, and Chief Ed Kirchhoffer. And there's more yet, folks. Representing Clackamas County, County Commission Chair Lynn Peterson, County Commissioner Bob Austin, County Commissioner Jim Bernard, District Attorney John Foote, and County Clerk Sherry Hall. Thank you all for being part of this event. We so appreciate your dedication. And before we get down to business, there is also a special little introduction. With us today, we have some family members of the mayor. We have sisters Helen Kelly and Nancy Pitney, and brother John Pitney, as well as her husband, Dr. Mike Norris. Would you all stand to be recognized? This year, Mayor Alice Norris is completing her second and final term of service to the City of Oregon City as mayor. She was first elected in 2003. Alice has been an active voice throughout Oregon City and the region, and highlighting just a few of her former and current commitments: chairing the Oregon City School Board, Regional Arts and Culture Council, South Fork Water Board. She has chaired the Urban Renewal Commission and the Metro Policy Advisory Committee, serving on the Clackamas Repertory Theater Board, and was appointed to the Executive Committee of the Governor's Oregon 150 Committee. This individual is truly an example of service to others. Alice received a Bachelor of Sciences in English Education from Oregon State University, go Beavs, and is married to Michael, a recently retired local physician. Today they have 3 grown children and 5 grandchildren. It is my great honor to introduce to you Oregon City's Mayor, Alice Norris, to present her 8th and final State of the City Address.
What a pleasure to be here. That means this is the last one I have to do. It's not an easy thing to encapsulate all that's happened in a community as active as this in just a few short minutes. So I will get you out by 3. It's actually hard to believe that it's been 7 long years since my first State of the City address at the Rivershore Hotel. Since I like history, I decided that in preparation for today, I needed to review that old State of the City speech from 2003. I had served 134 days at the time, and I compared Oregon City to a person undergoing an annual physical exam. This is what I wrote. This patient has a very strong heart, but empty pockets. Occasional shortness of breath, some congestion, good kidneys, strong muscles, is undernourished but still growing fairly rapidly, has a great potential. But according to Commissioner Bob Bailey, sometimes suffers from delusions of grandeur, alternating with feelings of inferiority. When I spoke in 2003, we had 3 new county commissioners, an interim city manager, interim school superintendent, new community college president, new county CEO, new metro leaders, 2 new state representatives, and a new state senator. Walmart had submitted a land use application, and the porn shop moved in. Honestly, the day after we let the construction contract for the new Amtrak station, the legislature cut the trains. Oregon City had the highest traffic injury and fatal accident rate of all Oregon cities larger than 10,000. Our population had doubled over the past 13 years from 13,000 to 27,000. We were bleeding red ink in planning, at the library, the swimming pool, in IT, at the cemetery, where our permanent residents live. We had no rainy day fund and a skinny contingency. To make up the projected shortfall, we cut the budget 10% in January and closed the library 2 days a week. And we would, at our most desperate and discouraging time, cut library service hours back to 23 per week, the fewest of any city library in Clackamas County, while still maintaining the highest circulation of any library in Clackamas County. And then I had the audacity to conclude, remember, this was 2003, should we have reason for optimism in Oregon City? Yes, yes, and yes. I said that we had a new demographic trend here that envisions an attractive and thriving downtown with Riverview condos and a flourishing mix of offices and retail, a vibrant cultural center that abounds in outdoor art on the 2nd level with an efficient new government center on the 3rd level. These new citizens promote the development of parks and open space, protection of our beautiful trees and rivers, and continuing development of our trail system, bikeways, and pedestrian walkways. We envisioned new industry arriving and new commercial areas that allow us to shop close to home and use our cars less. I am proud to announce today that this is Oregon City 2010, and things look different here. And by the way, I did secure permission from Todd Davison at Travel Oregon to use that old state slogan. Things look different here. So different, in fact, that we've just received a letter from First Lady Michelle Obama. I'm thrilled to announce today that Oregon City has been named a Preserve America community, one of only 6 in Oregon. How about that? Besides the wonderful honor, we are now eligible for matching grants to support our efforts in historic preservation, heritage tourism, and to use our historic assets for economic and community revitalization. We received notice on Tuesday. By Thursday, Lloyd Purdy had already written our first grant proposal, seeking $160,000. Thanks, Lloyd. All of you helped us with some pretty heavy lifting to get Oregon City rolling again. Let's take a quick review of how things look different here since 2003. We cut the ribbon on 21 new or refurbished community service projects in Oregon City, from the Rivercrest Spray Park to the Clackamas River Trail in the pouring rain. In 2006, we constructed our first new park in 23 years. Wesley Lynn Park was greatly needed in the southern end of the city. Since 2003, the city has purchased 15.6 new acres of parkland, thanks Metro, and developed 22.8 acres for public uses. Our inventory now includes a sand volleyball court, 2 more ball fields, 2 more soccer fields than we had in 2003, and we've added 1.3 miles to our trail system in 3 different parks. But this is also a trouble spot, the parks. In order to meet the low end of national staffing averages, we would need to almost double our parks maintenance staff by adding 8 positions. We are hoping to afford to add 2 over the next 5 years. One of our city goals in 2003 was promote a positive image and a positive quality of life for Oregon City. The trash talk reached a new low point when the mayor of Happy Valley commented publicly about our city. "You couldn't make the city any uglier if you tried." I made him eat his words, literally, when he came to a city commission meeting to offer an apology. But image is the most difficult thing to overcome, changing what the community thinks of itself. You be the judge. Do things feel more positive here? And speaking of image, we have a new logo, one that promotes a healthy, business-savvy community, and new city entry signs. These things visually announce a difference here. We had a downtown mural program in 2003 and a small arts festival. But our arts community is tenacious. So now in 2010, we can boast about the renovation of the elevator and the amazing lenticular prints, the sculptures and street tiles on 7th Street, our first waterfront public art pieces, a First Friday art walk, and a rotating art gallery in City Hall to capture the spirit of Oregon City. Who would have predicted that Oregon City would become an arts hub? Well, even Dr. McLaughlin was moved. You're good, you get my jokes, I like that. Last year, Oregon City celebrated Oregon's 150th year in ways as different as our 166-year-old community. We planted 150 trees, thank you Clackamas Fire and Mountain View Community Church. We held a contest for new city banners. We sponsored a peace garden at our sister city Peace Garden, a peace gate at our Peace Garden, published a brochure on 150 things to do in Oregon City, collected 10,000 pounds of food during the food drive, thank you United Methodist Church, unveiled an official stamp, postmark, and envelopes under the watchful eye of Postmaster Dan O'Donnell and Sesky, the state mascots. Our 3 biggest events were first, being invited to march in the Rose Festival Grand Floral Parade with our trolley, historic characters, and high school band. Number 2, we hosted over 300 people at Chapin Park for an 1866 reenactment of a baseball game between the Clackamas Nine and the Portland Pioneers in 90-degree heat. And the third activity was our most visible. It actually attracted statewide attention when House Speaker Dave Hunt carried Oregon City's resolution, passed unanimously by our city commission, to the state legislature that asked for a redress of past illegalities and shenanigans and return the Capitol to its rightful place in Oregon City. I got to sit on the House floor during the mock serious debate that occurred on February 14th, Oregon's birthday, and the legislature voted to refer the matter to a task force and bring the recommendations back in 2059. On the public safety front, in early 2003, very quietly, without hoopla, we completed the South End Fire Station, which sat closed and vacant for 5 long years. Then Oregon City voters passed the first property tax increase in 19 years. 74% of us voted to tax ourselves $1 more on $100,000 of assessed value and annex to Clackamas Fire District. An incredible achievement. Thank you, voters. What we bought was improved response times all over the city and long-term stability for fire and emergency medical services, which I hope I don't need today. But there is more. This one thing, annexation to the fire district, put the city on the road to fiscal health. This was huge. Our financial crisis was extremely serious in 2004-2005. After staff cuts to library hours, refinancing of PERS, serious belt tightening, and the fire annexation vote, I am proud to say that we are now a financially stable city with an improved bond rating. This may be the biggest accomplishment of the past 7 years, financial stability. Oregon City has weathered the recession of today better than many cities, partly because our recession began back in 2004. It's a relief to know that things are different with our bottom line. But we do have a dilemma about the future. As we commit to a different Oregon City, how will we provide the staffing we need to continue to serve the citizens of Oregon City and keep our commitment to the taxpayers to maintain our property rate at a lowered level? And speaking of money, our two grant programs, the Civic Improvement Trust and Metro Enhancement, have paid out $1.2 million in grants in the last 8 years. These are to local nonprofits and projects that benefit tourism, the environment, and community building. We've spiffed up our downtown with $500,000 in urban renewal storefront grants. In 2003, few people were talking about sustainability. Last year, build a sustainable future was our #1 goal. It is again this year. We've added an electric vehicle charging station, the first Prius in our evolving energy efficient fleet. We've joined the Natural Step Network along with many other cities in Clackamas County, gone nearly paperless at city commission meetings, and installed 3 solar-powered speed signs. We implemented the plans to homeowners policy, giving house plants to homeowners rather than discarding them to the landfill. We've backed the farmers market started in 2005 to support local growers, local food, and sustainable practices, and watch our paths and trails grow over the next few years. Our city is bigger by 2,300 people and by 353 acres, the result of 15 voter-approved annexations since 2003. We've recorded 1,400 housing starts since then, and our assessed value has grown by 48%. The real market value by 73%. However, we do expect the assessed value growth to slow to about 4.2% this year. Things look different in the hood. We worked with Clackamas County and welcomed their employees to the 2 beautiful new buildings at Red Soils. And we thank you, Clackamas County, for the gift of Liberty Plaza as you left our Main Street. We partnered with Willamette Falls Hospital as they built their new state-of-the-art emergency and diagnostic imaging departments, offering some of the most advanced medical technology in Oregon, and complete with underground utilities, and supported the merger with Providence Medical Center. We supported Clackamas Community College as they built 6 new buildings to serve students in our community. Things look very different along the Willamette River. We added our 320-foot floating dock and the Clackamas River Trail, and we'll dedicate 3 very important projects on May 19th. We have the award-winning John Storm Park, the Willamette River Trail, and the McLaughlin Boulevard Enhancement Project. These public spaces are fulfilling the community's vision to reconnect with our river while continuing our commitment to preserving and protecting our waterways. I challenge you, take a message, please. I challenge you to stand on the Willamette Terrace, surrounded by native landscaping, night-lit public art sculptures, and local rock work, watching the rushing Willamette, and tell me that things don't look different here. What a difference on Main Street. 14 new businesses, grant programs that have enhanced signage, storefronts, and business engagement. Things look different here because Main Street, Oregon City, our new program, and Lloyd Purdy, Main Street's first and only CEO, and our Citizen of the Year, Don Slack, Main Street's first president, and a very engaged board. Threatened by the impending closure of the Arch Bridge, downtown business owners came together in amazing unity to support Main Street, the circulation study that we're doing, and a federal funding request to fix streets and sidewalks from 5th to 15th. The latest ODOT report, by the way, on the Arch Bridge is that the rehabilitation project is out to bid and will begin in January next year. And speaking of jobs, Oregon City is very fortunate to be employing over 100 skilled craftsmen and construction workers on our 2 federal stimulus projects, the realignment of Beaver Creek Road and Warner Milne, plus the restoration of the Promenade and Grand Staircase. thanks to Nancy Krashow and her staff, who made certain we had projects ready to go when the funding became available. So much has happened in transportation. We completed the extreme makeover of 7th Street, Beaver Creek Road, and Beaver Creek 213 intersection, critical pieces of infrastructure that laid the groundwork for the many new restaurants and new businesses in town. Because potholes are such a bumpy topic, you'll be glad to know that since 2003, we have built 4 miles of new sidewalks, completed 24 miles of street maintenance projects. That's 10% of our 136 miles of city streets. But please note that more than half of that, or 13.5 miles, have been completed in the last 2 years. And that's because of our new pavement maintenance utility fee. It has made a real difference in Oregon City's pavement. We have made a significant investment in our water system by replacing 7.5 miles of water distribution pipes, built a new small covered reservoir, and rehabbed our big 10.5 million gallon reservoir. This is a very big deal. It has guaranteed water security and capacity for generations to come, including emergency storage. In April 2004, hundreds of citizens and VIPs, including Governor Kulongoski, celebrated the opening of our Amtrak station, our platform, an important connection to Oregon's passenger rail system. Because it offers local transportation alternatives, ridership continues to rise. In June, we will finally have a real station when we move the old Southern Pacific Depot to the site and add more parking using federal funding. And yes, we are monitoring any developments with high-capacity rail and light rail to Oregon City. In 2003, Helen too sat in a warehouse, but last summer, Josephine and Marguerite joined her for regular circuits around the city, from heritage sites to the business district to the entertainment spots. These 3 popular trolleys are a city signature and carried nearly 10,000 people last summer. And we still envision using the trolleys as a link to the TriMet system. For me, the most important happening of last year, and the biggest financial award Oregon City has ever received, was the $22 million we secured for our jug handle project, the I-205-213 interchange. For this, we are incredibly indebted to our legislative delegation, who learned to know that jug handle meant economic development. State Senator Martha Schrader, State Representative Bill Kennemer, and Speaker of the House Dave Hunt understood that linkage of this project to economic development and included us in the Oregon Jobs and Transportation Act. Thank you. And Nancy Krashow may be the only one who knows how much effort, how many late-night phone calls, hours of lobbying, and telling our story to state agencies, staff, and elected officials was required for Oregon City to receive this $22 million. I thank you, Nancy, for your tenacity, skill, and audacity. It was a remarkable achievement. And yes. Thank goodness things are different at City Hall. The old one was, frankly, embarrassing. Outdated, cramped, inefficient, and partly musty modular trailers, it provided no privacy for citizens doing business, no storage, and few meeting rooms. Our new one is green, efficient, sustainable, and situated perfectly to stimulate nearby and downtown businesses. It consumes 26% less energy, has 13% less maintenance costs than a standard office building, plus we diverted nearly 37 tons of construction debris from the landfill. It will be our first city-owned building to display the coveted LEED designation awarded by the U.S. Green Building Council. It is healthier for our employees and greatly improves our ability to serve the citizens of Oregon City. This was a critical facility need for our community, and partly because it paved the way for a difference in our police department. 2010, this year, is the year of the facility. We have tough decisions to make on 5 facilities. First, the Ermatinger House. Although it's not part of the city's mission to maintain and operate an historic home, we are very grateful to Marge and Rolla Harding, the citizen volunteers and curators who have kept this treasure open for the past decade. But nothing will be more satisfying than to have the National Park Service become the new long-term stewards of this special place. It's possible this year. Some things don't change. Once again, we have a citizens task force studying options for use of Carnegie Center. And this month, we will hire a consultant team to determine the long-term use of the End of the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center, Oregon City's newest facility, acquired, unfortunately, by default of Clackamas Heritage Partners. Things will soon look different at our library. 2005 was a real low point. Look at those library hours. But thanks to the passage of the new library district, Oregon City once again has a real library director, Maureen Cole, just 7 months into the job. Stand up so people can recognize you. Oregon City's library just celebrated its 100th anniversary in 13,000 square feet of leased space at Danielson's Mall, soon to be rubble as the business transformation to Safeway occurs. So, our library obviously is undergoing transformation. We are in serious negotiations with Oregon City School District regarding the use of Eastham School for a library. Things will be different very soon. We were finally financially able to build our police force, which in 2003 was the same size that it had been in 1978 when our population was 10,000. In 2007, we hired our first new officer by partnering with Oregon City School District and using city towing fees to add a much-needed school resource officer at the high school. Although we are still not quite where we need to be with sworn officers, our police facility is now more important than the staffing issues. The building lacks sufficient evidence storage and processing, victim interview rooms, record storage, and locker and training rooms. The police department moved into a temporary building 26 years ago, our old city hall. It's a terrible situation, ugly, inefficient, not secure, and certainly offers no privacy. We need to find relief this year. I said that in 2006, and 7, and 8, and 9. We did gain additional space for police when City Hall moved out in November, but due to state seismic requirements, police department gains were minimal, limited. LRS Architects estimated the retrofit costs at $1 million, with another $4 million to modernize the building, but it would still be drastically undersized. Now, don't forget that this is the same facility that just last year housed municipal court and city administration and Parks and Rec and code enforcement and public works, plus engineering and the police department. Estimates to build a modern and efficient police station run to $10 million. Right now, the only way the money would be available would be with a bond measure. We will be doing some polling very soon to determine when and how this measure goes before the voters, possibly as early as May 2011. Oregon City deserves a police station that looks different and functions differently. In 2003, our #1 goal was to create a strategy for Oregon City's economic recovery. And because it helps to have a plan, we hired the best: Dave Leland, a nationally acclaimed urban strategist, and Don Stastny, a city design specialist. We focused on implementing the economic development strategy they helped us create. The key was community revitalization, and jobs would follow. So now in 2006, we rolled out with fanfare our 2 transformative projects, the Cove and the Rivers. Both are green projects, and in spite of the real estate collapse, both are still on track to move dirt in 2011. They'll bring over 2,500 new jobs and cleanup of degraded properties. Each brings public amenities not found now in Oregon City, such as riverfront living and waterside restaurants, plus services and retail that will decrease our need to travel long distances. Our Urban Renewal Commission remains strongly proactive in shaping these catalyst projects that will anchor the successes of our downtown and the regional center. They won't let us lose sight of another meaning of things look different here: a commitment to a different Oregon City, not a copycat of another suburban community. And finally, another goal in 2003 was hire a skilled new city manager. We did. And now As Larry Patterson prepares to retire on March 31st, we are in the initial stages of hiring another one. Larry has been the chief architect of virtually all of our successful ventures. Won't you please join me in thanking him for his motivational leadership, commitment to excellence, and hard work in helping things look different here. Thank you, Larry. But the good news is that because of our work together over the past 7 years, our new city manager will fortunately find a highly skilled and committed staff, financial stability, strong relationships with our partners at the local, county, regional, and federal and state levels, tools for economic success. He or she will find a full-service community that can now compete on a level playing field with other communities of our size. And fortunately, some things don't change. Our new city manager will also find and engage citizenry. We have legions of dedicated, talented volunteers who love this community and work incredibly hard to support it, change it, and preserve the livability that we enjoy. Motivated citizens have taken ownership of community projects and problems. Check out the Wedge, look at the food drives, and the Cobb Bench for bus riders, all because citizens cared. From the beginning, this community was shaped by men and women with dreams about possibility, what the future could hold for them and their families. They collaborated, they formed partnerships, and yes, they bickered about the details, just as we do. But I'm grateful to city commissioners, both present and past, for having the courage to keep the vision, especially under intense pressure to go in a different direction. We've set goals together. We accomplished what we said we were going to do. Of course, I've always been motivated by one of my favorite people, Jedi Master Yoda. Do you remember that he said, "Do," or "do not"? There is no try. It took trust, persistence, patience, constant communication, and a good sense of humor to do it. Public service is a partnership with the community, and I have been privileged to serve with you through thick and a lot of thin. Standing beside you as we shaped this city, fixed the broken parts, and dreamed about the future together has been one of the greatest privileges of my life. We have been building community, not just for today, but for generations to come. Serving you as mayor has been one of the most difficult, challenging, rewarding, and fun jobs I've ever had, except for being a mom. But this isn't the end of anything. It's the commencement, the beginning of the new Oregon City, our new future, for we still have much work to do. But we will launch from a different pad. We have raised the bar, and we have formed a new base from which we will fire off our new initiatives, our new projects, and our future visioning. It's what we do from today forward that matters. This is the new normal. This is the state of the city. Things look different here, and frankly, we like it like that, don't we? Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. I would also be remiss if I didn't thank Jason Frazier, who put together the wonderful collection of slides for us. Thank you, Jason. And the Chamber of Commerce, who annually holds this event. And I thank them very much for that.
I'm glad I don't actually have to follow her with anything of substance, because it would be very hard to do that. Alice, our great thanks to you. Our great thanks to the City of Oregon City Commissioners and staff. I'd like to thank Melody Ashford from Willamette Falls Television, staff of Abernethy Center, our fantastic chamber supporters and fantastic staff, Julie Paulson, and kind of substitute staff, Carol Pauley. And before I let you go, and I can't believe we're going to get out before 1 o'clock at this point, on your tables there was a fantastic, attractive flyer, Oregon City Around Town, that will be out in early May. The back side tells you all about it. I'd really like to have you take a look at that. And if you have questions about it, either contact the chamber, contact Dick Orr at VCT. We would be more than happy to include your great stories. We believe in Oregon City, and we'd like everyone to know about it, and this is one of the ways we're going to get there. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the State of the City address and luncheon. Thank you so much for your involvement here in the city, and have a fantastic day.